Take number 2, because I want to get this right. Alrighty, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another device for you guys that I am reviewing. I don't know why I sound like I have marbles in my mouth, but I do not. So, this is a device that I polled you guys before, months ago, asking you guys which device you'd like to see, and everyone was basically split, but I eventually got my hands on this one. I'm still planning on reviewing the other ones, but I got my hands on this one. And it took a while to get my hands on this one. I actually had to order it 3 times. First time it just got lost. Second time it got destroyed by the time it got to my mailbox. And then this time I finally got my hands on it. And I recorded the video multiple times. I tried to do this review probably about 4 or 5 times. The first couple times I was having some weird issues that were unexpected, and I'll get to that in a second. And then the time after that, the video was just, it kept cutting in and out. And I don't know if it's the device or if it had something to do with my computer. I'm thinking it has more something to do with the USB hub that I have all this plugged into. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So, we are listening to the Pyle, and I'm not going to say the name. It's goofy. It's the PP10 or something like that. It's in the description, and the link is down below. That's all you need to know. This is probably about $60 to $70, and it's from a company that I've had hit and miss review relationships with, as in I've been sent items from them before, I think so. Or maybe I know I own some of these items. I don't remember if they've sent them to me. And then some of their items that I've reviewed have been not what I expected, have been kind of subpar. There have been a whole bunch of videos that of items that I've reviewed, and then I just didn't post the video because I didn't like how it turned out. But this is one of them that I actually like. I'm just going to put that out there. I like it. It sounds good for its price. There you go. If you guys are wanting a short version, you can now leave. You can now go. It's totally fine. I don't judge you. I do not judge you. But for those who are wanting the full breakdown, here we go. So, there are a couple things that I don't like about this, and I'm going to get to the things that I don't like, and I'm then going to get to the things that I do like. Obviously, the sound is something that I do like. However, the sound in my headphones is different than the sound that you guys are hearing right now. What's going into the computer is actually better than what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing in my headphones has more of a tinny kind of, it's a more of a digital sound. It sounds more compressed. It's a little sharper and more brittle sounding. And there's kind of a whining, which is mechanical noise. So there's something different between what's going into the headphone jack than what's going into the computer, what's going through the USB port. Which was kind of weird, because my first video when I was recording, I thought it didn't sound all that good. And I was kind of like, I wouldn't recommend it. But then I listened back to the footage, and I was like, oh, it is actually better than I thought. But I will say this. I tried plugging this up to my iPad, because you can actually get a mini USB cable to USB-C, or Thunderbolt, whatever, and plug it directly into your iPad. And it actually works. However, what you get in your headphones is better than what you get on the iPad. How? Why? It's so weird. So there is some weird quirks and hit and miss kind of stuff when it comes to live monitoring versus what you're actually recording. Now, what I'm actually recording is actually pretty good. I have reviewed it in advance, and it seems totally fine. But what I'm hearing is not so good, which is, by the way, is totally fine. Is totally fine to get a little bit different of an experience in live monitoring versus what you're recording. Because what you're recording is the most important thing. It needs to be good on the recording. The live monitoring is just to make sure that you're not peaking, you're not, popping the mic, that you're not getting some external noise or this thing isn't vibrating that you wouldn't be able to hear without the headphones on. That's kind of the point of live monitoring. You want to be able to make sure that it's good before you're done with the whole script and you go sit down to edit, because then you're like, oh, I got to go back and I got to re-record and I got to get back into that zone. You kind of want to do all that editing in advance in the moment. And this gives you that ability. So this would probably be most comparable to the Blue Icicle. It's a very common little white device. It's about the same size. But I don't think, now leave down in the comment section if I'm wrong, I don't remember if the Blue Icicle actually has live monitoring. I don't think it does. But I could be wrong. I've never actually reviewed it, but I have seen other people's reviews of them, and I don't remember it having that. Also, I think the Blue Icicle just has one switch, one knob, one button or whatever on the front. I don't remember if that actually allowed you to mute or if it was literally just headphone or if it was gain. I don't remember. Again, I haven't reviewed it. I need to. I do need to, but I haven't reviewed it. So I can't really compare the two too much, but from what I have seen and what I have heard, this seems to be audibly, as far as audio quality, about on par, maybe slightly less, but about on par with the Blue Icicle, but has more features. Obviously, it's got a mute button, which isn't really necessary when it comes to voiceover. You don't really need a mute button, but if you were doing if you were just doing like gaming, talking head, Skype meetings, stuff like that, that's when you would need that. You wouldn't need that for voiceover. It does not have a gain knob, though. It does not have a gain knob. It has two different, basically, headphone volume knobs. One of them is basically for how much of the microphone versus how much computer you're actually hearing, or the device that it's plugged into, rather. And then the other one is, where is that? Yeah, the other one is literally just the headphone knob. So this one down here is the headphone knob, meaning how much you're actually hearing, and this one is how much of which device you're hearing. It's not actually a gain knob. You have to do all that in the computer, which is totally fine, totally works. And I've made sure that my levels were fine before I started recording, which is something that you have to do. But, there's no compression, there's no EQ, there's none of that. It's very simple, it's very basic. If you need to change the gain, you can go in and change it. And yes, if you are using Twisted Wave, the input slider, that's what you'd use to change the gain on this, the volume, how much of the mic you're recording. Here's something that I was very, very surprised by, is the fact that it actually provided phantom power. And all the video, all the pictures that I saw for its advertisement, it looked like it was just for dynamic microphones. That's really how everyone was using it, and all the marketing material. And then I found out that it actually does provide phantom power. There's nothing on here that says phantom power. There's no phantom power button. And the instructions, it didn't really make it clear if it actually provided 48-volt phantom power. But then I plugged it up into my Sennheiser MKH416, and it seems to work okay. Now, here's one thing that was very, very interesting. I actually plugged this into a dynamic handheld microphone at first, and it sounded really bad. It sounded way worse than this, which is odd because you'd think that when a microphone needs less power, it would be easier for a device to give it power. But that wasn't the case. And I tried it on a couple different handheld microphones, a whole bunch that you guys have seen me review before and do a lot of shootouts with. And it didn't sound right. It just didn't sound like those microphones. But the Sennheiser MKH416 sounds okay. I was actually kind of disappointed that this actually didn't sound all that good on my iPad, because it was actually one of the things that I really, really wanted this device for and wanted to review it for. It didn't sound good, and I may still try again later. Maybe there was something that I was doing wrong. There was wrong settings, wrong app, I don't know. But it didn't sound good. And the reason that I really, really wanted that to work is because I wanted a small form portable device that it sounded at least relatively good. Now, it obviously doesn't have to sound as good as my mixer, as, my higher quality stuff, and, the live monitoring doesn't have to be perfect. But my goal was to have something that if I was on the road and I knew I was going to have some downtime to do some auditions, or if there was a chance that a client might need some pickups from a previous project, that if I give them something that's usable and doesn't have a lot of background noise, that they would be able to EQ it and fit it in. That was something that I wanted, because so far my portable interface is about this big. Obviously, this would be a huge step up, or step down in size. Whatever, you get what I'm saying. It'd make it way more portable. This is also about the size of the small diaphragm microphones, or the very short form shotgun mics that I normally travel with. So I could literally just put these in a zip bag, just a little zip bag, make sure that they're not, banging against each other, and it'd be totally fine. Would I say that this would be good for your beginner kit? Like for your in-studio, just starting out kit? I actually think it would be fine. I actually think this would be a really good device to have, especially if you're putting up a PVC tent and you don't have a lot of room. You don't got a table, you don't got a desk, there's not a lot of arm room. You're just making basically like a 2.5 or 3 by 3 and 5.5 or 6 feet tall PVC box, and you don't want to have like a big interface or a mixer, and you just want to have the USB, the shotgun mic pointing down at you. You could easily get this, put some Velcro around it, Velcro it to the structure, to the PVC, and that could easily be your interface. I think this would be a great buy for that. I'm kind of expediting the review. I'm kind of getting to the good news first. Kind of getting to the good news as quick as possible. However, there is one thing that I would say. You're definitely going to have to get a different cable. The cable that it came with is about this long. It's maybe like a foot, maybe a foot and a half. It's not very long. You're definitely going to want something longer that you, ladies, so that you could plug it into more devices without having that device so close to it. So what I would definitely suggest is getting this, a long enough cable, probably about 3 feet, maybe less, XLR cable, and then a much longer USB cable. This one is actually like a 12 foot cable. Gives me plenty of room. I could plug this into a laptop or a desktop just outside of the booth, still feed this in, and then just have a shorter cable going to the mic, because it's going to be closer to the mic, and then headphones, and then just, work with such a small thing, and then have my iPad, as my copy, instead of having this plugged into the iPad, because it doesn't all sound that good. I may still do a review with the iPad later. Maybe it was the cable, maybe it was particular settings, but I did try it in multiple apps, both the Memo app, Twisted Wave, and one other one that I'd found recently. And they all basically had the exact same results. So that's that. But would I say that this would be a really good buy for someone's starting out voiceover? Yes, absolutely. This is a great option when you're just starting out and you got a very limited budget. It's portable. It provides phantom power. And, this needs 48 volts. And this microphone, if it's plugged into something that's, subpar, it's not very forgiving. It will let you know that, hey, something is wrong. I'm not sounding right. It will let you know. So if you were to plug this into, now, again, I did test this on dynamic microphones, and I had some hit and miss and some less favorable results. So be wary. You're probably going to want something that's a large diaphragm. So maybe I would say the MXL V67G, which, strangely enough, I keep seeing and saying that it's $60 back when I did the review and periodically, but it keeps jumping up and down in price. So it may not be, every now and then I see it, for like $125, even new. So I don't know. You might go with like the MXL 990 or the MXL 770 instead, because I think those ones are more consistent in price. But you got options. The point is, I wouldn't connect it to a dynamic microphone. So definitely not the Shure SM7B. Absolutely not. Because a dynamic microphone needs a lot more gain to be good. It just needs a lot more. And this will definitely not work with a cloud lifter all that well. It just doesn't get enough power, and it doesn't provide enough power. If Pyle actually did an updated version of one of these and maybe traded out this cable for USB-C to USB 3.1 or a USB-C to USB-C or something like that that can actually get more power and gave you a gain option, this could be one of the best buys. Could be literally one of the best small form interfaces that you could buy. Again, the sound quality is not perfect. The sound quality is not the best, and I have had hit and miss problems with this device. So it loses a few points that way. But starting out voiceover, auditioning, podcasting, talking head, it's perfect for those. Perfect. As you go on, though, you are going to want to upgrade to something that's a little bit more reliable and something that gives more juice to your microphone cleanly and more reliably. But you're on a tight budget, you need something, this could be it. So, anyway, there you guys go. A nice little review. This was kind of frazzled because I had been trying to do this review for a while, and before, the previous video was great. It was a great video. I was well structured. I had a shootout going, but then I looked at the footage and everything was just crap. It was all garbage, and I'm sorry. So sorry this took so long. But there you guys go. Nice, straightforward review with not a lot bad to say, other than just my personal experiences with some hiccups. So yeah. If you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Totally fine. Subscribe if you're new. Bell for notifications, and leave down in the comment section below. I'd like to see us review. I don't know, us? Yeah, me and the voices in my head. See me review any other items, microphones, talk about any topics, whatever. There's also my personal email down below if you need any particular coaching help. Help finding the right device or microphone for you. I've reviewed a lot of stuff, so I might be able to help you out. Also, link to the device is in the description. If you're looking for a small portable device and this sounds good to you, could be the perfect item for your kit. And until next time, peace.